So now we're going to go to the tactics board here. I'm going to get a couple of my programmes out of the way. We're going to look first of all at Dublin against Kilkenny. How do you see, like, this is how I would see Dublin setting up now. I think that you'll have the likes of, perhaps you're going to have Paddy Smith, probably Cian O'Callaghan, Owen O'Donnell possibly starting there but moving out to follow TJ Reid. I would imagine that you'll have Chris Crummy, Sean Moran and Shane Barrett, Shane Barrett, with the option that Shane Barrett might go in cornerback because he has the speed at any time if he wants to. Is that how you'd see it happening this weekend?
I see another Dublin man, not necessarily one of these guys, but I definitely see another man in here, and I see guys moving out a bit and two inside, and that's probably leaving one here. I think they'd be foolish not to double up on that central area around TJ, and I think they will. I think you'd see Sean Moran sitting back
and sweeping
in front of there, yeah, because they definitely won't want to concede goals anyway. So that's kind of how I would see it, because that's probably, they are very fit and very mobile, so they will be able to work it as long as they play balls up the flanks here, probably out here and out here, keep balls coming up the flanks. I think that would be their best chance. I think they'd be foolish not to flood this area here in the middle, because that's where TJ and John Donnelly and these guys are going to flow into and do a lot of damage.
We're going to have a look at how Kilkenny set up. I took a picture from one of their games recently, but just to again go back to the original setup, that if Kilkenny did, or Dublin did set up their forward line like this, I think if this was David Tracy, now we'll probably have a half forward line of Sutcliffe, maybe Keeney, maybe Ryan O'Dwyer, and then you're looking at the likes of Rush full forward, Tracy, and perhaps Winters, or maybe even Paul Ryan, which is a real 2013 feel about it. But I would see Tracy coming back here, and like you're saying, other men dropping back to fill the spots. But my concern then is that you're going to have, if for Dublin, would be that you'd have the likes of Paddy Deegan coming out there, and if he does, we saw the amount of ball he got on against Tipperary, and that could pretty much like destroy Dublin in a way, because he's going to give the right ball up the field. That's Kilkenny's way these days. They work the ball up the field, use the space, they hit grass with the ball. The
key to it there is he's going to sit in the middle. The key to it is, if they're going to try and do this, that they have to play the flanks. They cannot be raining ball down here. You've played in games as well where there's been a sweeper on the other team and some lad clears the ball from the half-back line down onto the 45 and you're pulling your hair out. That's the exact opposite of what they'll be doing. I imagine they'll be working ball out to here and hitting ball to the flanks, particularly if they have Paul Ryan and we'll say Paul Winters or someone like that, or Donald Burke or someone around there. They're going to be trying to hit this area here. I don't think, like, getting goals is probably going to be difficult if they're playing that style, but if they can put up 21, 22 points, like, you're going to be bang there. So I think that's the way around it. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be... Paddy Deegan is just this absolute live wire when he gets the ball, and you definitely don't want to be putting ball around him, because he just has no problem breaking tackles, or they're going to have to foul him, kind of one or the other. So they're going to have to kind of negate that area there.
And who do you see starting midfield for Kilkenny? Because James Maher and Richie Leahy were excellent at midfield the last couple of games, both against Wexford and Tipperary. But Conor Fogarty has to come into the mix. He came on during the league final, scored a goal, and he's obviously been an excellent player for a couple of years. So I would suggest that maybe Richie Leahy would move into the wing forward line, maybe Conor Fogarty come into midfield, and perhaps Alan Murphy might drop out of the team.
Yeah, either or, I'd say either Richie or James Maher. James Maher has played wing forward a good bit as well. Yeah. So I think either of them, one will play midfield, one will play wing forward. Conor had glandular fever there for 2 or 3 months, I think, but he looked in top form in the 2 games he came on in, and he was brilliant. Even we hadn't seen him. He usually kind of recycles ball when he gets it, or breaks a tackle and passes. Like, he actually left 2 Tipperary guys like in his wake. So he looked in top form. I think I'd imagine he'd have to start. He's had a month under his belt since then. So, like, he's a real powerhouse as well. I'm kind of just thinking about picking holes through the Kilkenny team. If Paul Murphy gets back fit and is flying, and Colin Fennelly gets back, then the perceived weaknesses kind of come out of the team. And
not to mention Richie Hogan.
Not to mention Richie as well. And then you start getting a little worried. Then you start thinking, oh, maybe they are there or thereabouts again. They probably are. But if they come back and you're able to take out a couple of the weak spots out of the team, it'll be very, very interesting.
And Owen Murphy spoke about the importance of having a really strong spine in the team, and I would say he's the best goalkeeper in the game.
He's brilliant, yeah.
Colm Callinan, it looks like Colm Callinan isn't going to line out for Galway this weekend, who would be one of the other contenders, and then you've got other great goalies like Nash, Stephen O'Keefe, and I'm probably missing somebody there. But just to look at the spine of the team, you've got Murphy, Pádraig Walsh, Killian Buckley, a really strong midfield, as we've just outlined, TJ Reid and Wally Walsh, who's been swapping with John Donnelly very effectively in the games coming up to now.
Cody is always built around a spine. You've never really thought, even when Eamon Kennedy came in and played in 2000, he ended up getting an all-star. He didn't cut the mustard the year after, so they moved him on. He places so much emphasis on that central spine of the team, and he's right. Sometimes people can complicate things. It's so important to have it's so important that your spine is strong, basically. And they have while we would probably all like to see Pádraig Walsh out in the wing, that's probably not best for Kilkenny at the moment because they don't have a full back. Maybe Conor Delaney might turn into a full back in time, but Cody's happy to leave him there as long as he knows he's going to be secure at the back. And when you go down to that spine, it's a frightening enough prospect, yeah.
It is, yeah. So we're going to look at how Kilkenny isolate the space. We've got an image here that I took from their recent game against Tipperary, and you can see up there that they drop back hugely. Now, you would always think that Kilkenny are high scorers and that dropping players back would be kind of defensive. But no, you actually want your forwards to have lots of space. And Tipperary fell into this trap in the league final whereby all their players were choking up their own space in the forward line. So it's very hard to move without running into a tackle. And this is what Kilkenny do time after time. And I think I've got another picture there as well, which show how many people actually drop into the defensive line. There's 10 people in that picture.
TJ with the hand up there looking for the ball.
And it's not unusual for him to be back inside the 45. And look, you've got Richie Lahey back there. You've got, well, look, there's 10 players in the picture. That just shows you how well set up they are. And that was later on in the game. And Tipperary kind of got sucked up the field because they were chasing scores. But the last thing you should really do is actually allow more traffic to go up the field. Hence Tip struggling to get any. Tip only managed 4 scoring chances in the second half. They only had 1 wide. Yeah. So 1 point from play in the second half. So
the defence was kamikaze stuff, like
from Tipperary.
To leave 2-on-2 inside like that. It doesn't matter. You can have the best fullback and the best cornerback in the country. If ball is coming in with space like that, you can attack every ball and you can win 9. You miss the 10th ball and it's a goal. Do you know? I thought they were quite foolish to kind of fall into that trap, but we've all fell into it at some stage.
At this stage, you know the way previously you would see a sweeper playing around here, or between the 45 and 65. I actually think, and you see Tadhg de Búrca doing it a lot. It's back on your own 21 now, and Sean Murphy for Wexford, he's kind of playing around this area as well. And if he's there, because he obviously wants to be able to have the option of going left and right, and this is the same for example, if Sean Moran plays there this weekend. If you've got a 2v2 there and you're kind of caught in the middle of them, if a wing back, like let's say for example Enda Morrissey, who I think has been a real find for Kilkenny, Killian Buckley or one of those 2 midfielders, pins a ball over here, well, for example, Sean Moran is on the wrong side of it if it goes that way, and if a lovely ball goes that way. So it's actually kind of it's bypassing the sweeper as well, and that's one of the huge parts of the tactical evolution of hurling as well. So based on all of that, I'm just going to find it very hard for Dublin to get the scores, because while they have players who have really delivered over the years, you know, Conal Keaney, Danny Sutcliffe, Ryan O'Dwyer and Liam Rush, I wonder is there going to be enough pace and youth in that attack line. If Eamon Dillon, Trollier as he's known, if he was fit, he has real burning pace and you'd like to see him in there. But Dublin are probably short options. I mean, they'd love to have Mark Schutte, who's with the footballers. They'd love to have Colm Cronin. But they're possibly lacking a little bit of pace up there.
Probably, like you've named, the 4 older guys you named are, you know, big, strong, kind of towering fellas, and they offer a lot. But the other 3 guys you named are, you know, it's pace, pace, pace. Eamon Dillon, like, from a back's point of view, is so quick and just has only got goal on his mind. So he's a big loss. They're probably going to need to score a couple of goals to win, and probably won't. So that's probably going to be the win and losing, but I don't think there'll be much in it at all. And Kilkenny are going to find it hard to get that space 2-on-2 inside in Parnell Park. I've never known space in Parnell Park. So I think you wouldn't
be able to use it anyway, Mike.
No.
So are you going to go for a Kilkenny win there?
Yeah, not by much. I think 4 or 5 points. I think it'll be tight the whole way. I think probably the Kilkenny will probably nick a goal at some stage, and maybe a couple of points will be all that's in it, I'd say.